Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel and another edition of An Orchid Today. This is Terry, and it is Saturday, and I'm finishing up my breakfast, having some coffee, before I at last get to this repot of Bulbophyllum macranthum that I got at Nat's Orchids. You, excuse me, you all remember that day trip that I took to Nat's a couple months ago. Maybe it was a month ago. It wasn't so long ago. Made an appointment and it was a fun day. Got a few orchids, and I am going to mount this to preserve space to keep this high up. Bulbos. This is one of the bulbos that does not like water dripping down on its leaves. It will immediately look like this within a day or so. This is probably also in addition cold, which is one of the major issues with bulbos in the wintertime, but I'm kind of getting off topic. But first off, Bulbo macranthum. This is my Orchids of New Guinea book. Bulbo macranthum. You can read that up to 1,200 meters. Mainland and islands west as far as Malaysia, Sumatra. Rhizome is strong and woody with the sheaths. Blooms from the rhizome. Mine bloomed from winter into spring. Has a fragrance of complex fragrance that changes at certain times of the day. I noticed, like for instance, early morning, it seemed to be more of a musky, spicy smell like that. Whereas towards the evening, it was more of a watermelony, fruity, something like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it out of the pot, and we're going to see what it is. I can already tell that it's got a rhizome clip in it. Good. I might be able to use that. Let me see if there's any more in here. But it appears to be a layer of sphagnum under the plant, and then there's leca, and then there's more sphagnum, and then maybe in the bottom, there's leca in the bottom. So multiple layers of drainage and moisture. So, and I just forgot that I am going to probably need sphagnum. Although, let me look at this tag. Yeah, there is no date on it. It kind of smells like it needs to be refreshed. But honestly, this sphagnum that's down in here, that's not bad at all. It's this that's on the top that is got the green, moldy. But what I am going to do is because I forgot the moss in the greenhouse, and I'm going to run out there real quick and get some fresh moss so I can add some of that around the plant. I'm just going to take it all off, and then I'll just mount it on that piece of cork. Maybe I'll leave that clump in there because that seems to be okay. So yeah, I'm going to be right back with some more moss. 1 second. Okay, I'm back, and I've got my moss that is moistened slightly, and I think I'm going to leave this clump on of moss, like I said, that has attached itself to the roots. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little more of this moss around to protect it a little bit, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to place it in here so that it is kind of sitting in the log, and you can see the rhizome or the pseudobulb is more or less flush, except for up here, but I can train the direction of the rhizome so that it will go to where I want it to go. So with this rhizome clip, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get it somehow in there to keep that attached there. And then I'm going to add a little bit more moss over here because I have this one going into another little crevice on this side. And then I'm going to tuck some in here because this one is going in this direction into this little crevice. So I want some moss there to make sure that those roots that are just now coming out, because this new growth right here is still maturing. So I want to make sure that that gets moisture at its roots, just to give it a little help adapting to its new home. So yeah, I'm just tucking the moss in, and that's looks good to me. So I'm going to take my string. I wish I had another rhizome clip because I would clip that in there, but this will do just fine. Taking my string, wrapping it around the cork. I'm going to do that a couple times up here just to make sure that it's attached on one end before I move to the other. So then I'm just going to tie this behind here like such. Nice and simple. You know, I don't mind, you know, it's just something you got to do as far as repotting is concerned. I mean, there's no way you have to get over your fear or phobia or whatever, stubbornness. I didn't repot for about, gosh, when I began to really get into orchids, I didn't repot probably for 20 years or 15 at least, when the books or whatever would say repot every year, repot every 2 years. I just thought it meant that it needed fresh bark, and you know, the fresh bark that I felt like I was giving it just by adding on top, I felt like that would be enough, which of course it wasn't. So of course, over time, I began to wonder why the same thing would happen, and then one day it dawned on me, maybe all of this mush that is here in this pot, all of these pots, when I unpot it, maybe there's something to that media being in that state and being decomposed and overall affecting the plant. So literally the minute that I began to repot my plants, they responded overnight. So I am a staunch advocate of that very strongly. I mean, your plants will not survive without it in the home environment, especially. And the more you water, the higher your humidity is, the more quickly your media will break down, which is why inorganics are very popular, but I'm such a purist. So that's pretty much how I'm going to plant, how I'm going to leave that on the mount. I'll just kick that little bowl away, but the roots are well spaced. It is firmly attached lightly. It's got moss supplementing the moisture on the plant. I've got it tucked into a gully so it can hopefully suck its roots and get to the cork, and hopefully will be happy and give me blooms. So I'm going to find a way to hang it up in the greenhouse so it can get nice light, nice warmth, and hopefully I'll see some blooms. So thanks for watching, everybody. Again, this is another edition of An Orchid a Day. Enjoy your orchids. Bye.